Hello again, this is Kirsi Vansal on kizomba and part 2 of the Musicality series on kizomba and semba. In this part we're going to look at the music part of the equation, and this is not going to be a simple scale of music from kizomba to semba. Nope, it's a lot more complex than that. There are so many different genres of music that we can dance to. And a good DJ on a typical night would play a lot of these different genres for you to dance to. And if you don't know the names of all of them, it really doesn't matter. Even in the end of this video, you don't need to know all the names of the different genres. But I'm trying to here explain to you the music part of why we dance the way we do. And I'm going to tie this whole series together with a third musicality class, and it's going to be a full-blown class. It's a free class for you online, the same one I teach to my students. So hang in there and see you also in the next one, okay? You ready? So let's start from what we call old school music. Why we call it old school is because for us it's old. I'm talking about the music styles now that people used to dance to in the 80s and 90s and the beginning of this millennium. That music was quite often either Cabo zouk, made by Cabo Verdeans, or Caribbean zouk from the Antilles. Could have been some compa, could have been some cadence, but especially in the West, what became very popularized was the Cape Verdean and Caribbean music. And those styles would be typically quite heavy on the beat, heavy on the bass, slowed to mid-tempo. There was, of course, other styles, like, for example, Edouard de Pain, he's the father of kizomba. His style is much lighter, and you hear it. He's got a lot of synthesizer, and it's more playful, often quite fast, especially compared to the Cape Verdean music. And in this millennium, as Angolans came out of their civil war, they started making a lot more music again in Angola, now bringing in the influences of all types of music on top of their traditional sounds of semba, and all kinds of instruments mixing. So there was a trend for a while where they would bring in an electronic guitar, and you could hear like rock guitar in a kizomba song, like Matias Damasio used this for a while. Or they would bring in the Cuban sound, and suddenly you had the son clave really clearly on the songs. Like you hear this a lot in Filho de Zua's music for a while. Or something else. So you could have a big band, you could have layers upon layers, even strings and wind instruments in the same song. Kiaku Kiadaf is an example of this type of music. And you can't simply say that this is a kizomba song and this is a semba song. Now, Angolans would call some of that semba music if they hear enough of the traditional instruments in there, or some of the percussions and rhythms that are typical for semba. So they name it a semba song. Or they have a song where the instruments are more like guitars played by chords, and it's more close to the romantic, introverted feel of the old Cabo zouk songs, and they might call that a kizomba song. But there's no clear-cut division here either. Nothing is so simple. The mistake that sometimes, actually a lot of the times, Westerners make is thinking that the music that they hear now from Angola, with all these layers and all these wonderful instruments, that it's traditional music. When it just came out of the studio last week, it's super modern. Why the Westerners would think this is because they're comparing it to the ghetto zouk music, which is the trendy pop music that is oftentimes made with very few, if any, real instruments, and basically just on a computer. And they think that this is the modern type of music as opposed to the traditional real instruments played by real people. And this is a mistake. First of all, if we want to stick to the dancing genres of music, now Angolans wouldn't call ghetto zouk dancing music at all. They wouldn't bring it in to the dance box. Why? Because for them it's pop music that they listen to. You hear it everywhere, but you don't dance to it. And if occasionally a DJ would play a ghetto zouk song at a disco at the end of the night or at some point, and people chose to dance to it instead of going to the bar and getting a glass of beer, they would pick the tools from their dancing toolkit that are most close to tarashinha. Musicality is such a big area, but do me a favor. Go and listen to a lot of different types of songs that you think are kizomba and semba, and send me your questions about them. And put that thumb up if you think that this is valuable to you, so that I know. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll never miss a class. I really hope to see you in the next one. Okay? See you there.